So in today's video, I'm going to be doing total opposite to what I did previously, and I'm going to be doing a grade that is referenced by Ozark. My name's Gelder. Welcome back to another video. So this is the reference I have, and then this is the look that I achieved. Let's get straight into the editing suite and see how I did it. So once you can get editing suite, make sure you got your reference, and then you've got your footage. So today I'm going to be trying to replicate this image on the left. So first of all, let's open up the color tab. And what you want to do here is just make sure color correction is all sorted and sort out the highlights and the shadows. So go into curves, bring the shadows down. Make sure you're looking at your scopes on the left. Bring down the blacks a little bit, just a tad, and then bring back up the highlight so we're not losing anything, creating that nice S shape. And then what you want to do is go on to basic correction, and then bring down the blacks and shadows here as well a little bit. Let's just say -3 there, and then bring the shadows down a tad bit more. So it's messing around with the shadows. Don't make it too shadowy. Look at the reference, it's not shadowy, it's actually really nice and smooth. So what we can do is bring the contrast down, just create that smooth look on his face and his surroundings. So if I click onto my reference and go back onto the scopes, we can then see what's actually going on. So as you can see, they've got yellow, tiny bit of red, which is where the skin tone will probably most likely be, and the rest of it is teal. So we have to try to replicate that, but we're already there with the yellow, and then we just want to crush this red a little bit more and bring the blue in. So to create that, all we need to do is make sure you're happy with that, make sure you're happy with the corrections that you've done. This is just like a normal correction that you would do: shadows, highlights, and contrasts, basically blacks, midtones, and highlights. So what you want to do, go on adjustment layer, create an adjustment layer, and bring this on top. Now this adjustment layer is going to be primarily the main thing that's going to create the look. So what you want to do here is bring the temperature down quite a bit. Let's just say to about 20. What you want to do here is go into creatives and just scroll across to the blue section, see if any of them tickle your fancy. Or if you want in that faded film look, this Kodak 5218 is actually really, really nice look. If I click on this, so you're just going to bring this down a little bit, not too much actually, because I quite like the faded film look it's given us. I actually want to boost this up a tad bit more just to create that soft image that it has on here. So again, come back to the adjustment layer, bring up, take out the vibrance, just a tad a little bit. This just takes the vibrance out of everything in the image. And then what we can do in a separate adjustment layer is just boost up certain colors that we want to boost, mainly the blues and greens / yellows. But this just creates the rest of the image, meaning the background, to be a little bit desaturated. I think that's looking pretty sweet. Last time I touched upon this, I don't think we actually need it with this grade, just because I think it's pretty simple and you're just creating that blue teal look. So what you want to do is just bring the luma and first saturation down at edges, as always, just to make sure our highlights and black are always the same and they're not getting affected. If you come on the color wheel, you want to make sure the highlights are becoming more teal. So you just bring that down and you're happy with it. And same again with the mid-tone. Always looking back in your reference. So the mid-tones are actually a little bit more yellow, so I need to change that. So always looking at the image, make sure the mid-tone is actually a little bit more yellow, because looking at the image, that's what it's actually doing. And then make sure that shadows are more teal/blue. This is what's going to create that look that we're going for. What you want to do is bring the mid-tones down, just to create that little bit more of an overall contrast in the image. If you bring the shadows down, it's just going to create too much shadow on his face, but the mid-tone kind of covers everything in the image. And then also do the same with the highlights. Make sure the highlights are a little bit down, and then come back onto your sculpts, always monitoring your sculpts as well as the reference. Pretty happy with that so far. So this is what we've got before, after. Now what we're going to do here is go on HSL secondary, and this time I want to be focusing on the skin tones. So here it's pretty much decent as it is if you're looking at the reference, but what we want to do is create a little bit of a desaturation and a little bit more of natural skin color into it. So grab your pen tool, make sure you go somewhere in between like his forehead, just because that's what the middle ground is. Here we go. Then feather it, and then mess around with the luma. Then feather that, put it in. Bring up the denoise and blur. So now we have the skin tone selected. So if I switch it to red, you can see the changes it's making. Now, don't be afraid if it's getting other stuff in the background, because ideally it's going to actually benefit the image, just because it's obviously the same skin tone or the same color of the skin tone. So what you're going to do is zoom in, you can see the skin. You go click on the grayscale again, and looking at the wheels, you can see it's near enough in the middle and a little bit all over the place. So we want to kind of centralize that, make sure it's more towards red, and bring that temperature in. Just bring that tint to more of a magenta. Again, this skin tone grade will depend on different skin types, but ideally it's the same process. You're just always making sure that skin tone is on this line here. Again, looking at the reference, the skin tones are very bluish and look soft. So what I want to do is I want to come back onto my thoughts and just always be monitoring the color as well as the harshness on his skin. I kind of want to bring the contrast down a bit. Bring it more magenta, a little bit more, and bring the temperature up, bring the contrast down, bring the saturation down and tad around 95. Then what you want to do here is make sure the shadows are a bit more teal. But make sure the shadows are a little bit of a reddish tint, and then with the mid-tones you can actually bring some more of a magenta/blue. Toggle it off and on, see what's exactly going on here. And you can see there's a little bit of colour bringing back into the skin, but also keeping it very blue and desaturated. So what I want to do is bring that saturation down a tad bit more. Just bring shadow less red, and the mid-tones more magenta. If I toggle this off and on, you can see the difference already. Now, if we look at the reference one last time, you can see the greens slash yellow is popping. What we want to do is we want to create another adjustment layer. We want to bring this on top of the previous one. And this time we're going to be focusing on the green slash yellows. So what we're going to do is go on HLS secondary and then click on the green tab. And hopefully that should do a good enough job. And then you just want to clean it up, making sure all the other things around it is not really affected. We just want to focus on our greens and yellows. And you can move this about just so we're not getting the skin tones or anything. We're actually just focusing on the grass or the trees. Just bring the denoise up and the blur, just so it blends a little bit better. Go on the wheel tab. And here we just want to boost the saturation just ever so slightly. And create a more of an autumn feel. We want to actually get rid of the green and make it a little bit more yellow. Like the grass has been washed out a little bit, so the midtones, just drag that a little bit to the orange and yellow section. Same again with the shadows. And highlight. Bring saturation down a tad bit more, so that's getting a bit too overpowering now. Way too overpowering actually. I might have to go to around 95, 92, 96 looks good to me. If we toggle that off and on, you can see the difference ever so slightly. And again, if you want to boost the contrast up, you can do so, but that's just going to make it more vibrant. So I'm going to actually bring it down to around -12. Just create that nice soft look onto the grass. That is also creating that little bit of a vibrance, so it just blends in nicely with the image, as you can see in the reference. So now what else we want to do is be focusing on the blues. So obviously this pole here, we just want to desaturate that a little bit, as well as bring the vibrance up. By bringing the saturation down, it's actually getting rid of the color, but the vibrance is actually making the blue pop a little bit more. So that's why you want to do both. So let's go on an adjustment layer. Drag this one on top. Again, what you want to do is make sure you are selecting the blue tab. Go on grayscale. And that's done a pretty decent job itself. I just want to kind of tweak it a little bit. Make sure we're not affecting too much. Cut that off now. Go back onto the color wheels. Again, bring the saturation up. Down, sorry. Bring the contrast up. Just to create that little more vibrance in the image. Bring the temperature a bit more cooler. Nothing crazy, just a little bit of it. Just a little bit more of a tint. And then bring the actual tint more towards magenta. And this should create that nice little pop. And to me, that it's overpowering. So what I want to do is just bring it down and add in the midtones and in the highlight, just so it's not overpowering or distracting our eyes. And again, go back onto the grass adjustment layer. Do the same with the grass. Bring the midtones down a bit. That's my bad, I should have said this before. And then the highlight as well. Just so it blends in with the image a little bit better. Now if I toggle this top layer off and on, which is the pole, you can see the difference. I'm just going to toggle it on again, off again, sorry. Toggle this grass off and toggle the overall image look off, and then switch it on and off so you can see the difference. So this is what we started with, colour, the look shows there, and then we mess with the grass, and we've also played with the bar here. Now one more thing I want to do is create an overall film look, so like a faded film look. So what you're going to do is go on another adjustment layer. But by titling it, it just makes it easy to know what's what. So what you want to do is go on creative, bring up the faded film up. Not by too much, just a little bit. Just to soften out the whole image. Bring the contrast up a little bit on this. One thing else I might want to do is create a gradient, but as you can see at the bottom layer, it's way more dark than it is on the top layer. So another way to do this is to just create another adjustment layer. You're just going to bring the shadows down on this. So bring the shadows down quite a lot. The highlight down, then the white down. This creates that overall gritty look. Quite happy with how that's looking actually. I might not actually have to see it out, but I do want to bring the shadows a bit more further up. And I want to go back onto the first layer where the skin tone is selected. And just bring the mid-tones up and the highlights up a tad bit. Just because I feel like we've lost a bit of the object attention by everything else that's going on in the background. Bring it up a tad bit more. And then with the grass, bring that saturation a tad bit further down, maybe to like 92. Again, we want it to feel like it's part of all that. I don't want it to feel like it's anywhere else. What I want to create here is another vignette as well. I want to make this quite strong, and then make sure you bring the feather up near enough all the way. Make sure the midpoint more central. Bring the roundness further up so it looks more of a straight line rather than a circle. Bring the midpoint a bit closer. Now what we want to do here is go into the editing tool tab, whatever you want to call it, and all you're going to do literally now is create that mask around the bottom. As you can see, it's affecting all of our backgrounds. We don't want that, we just want it to be affecting our bottom bit. So all we're going to do is just see around the bottom part of our image, making sure it looks natural. You want it to kind of be like gradual-ish. You want to just be halfway above the body and then bring it down. Cool. So now we've keyed out our braid. We just obviously want to feather it so it blends in. Feather it quite a bit. Bring the mask expansion down. Feather it even further. Come up to the opacity tab. Bring it down to around about 80 to 70. I'm going to go in between to 75. So it's not as powerful. So now, if I go back onto the grade, we basically have the Ozark look. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to keep doing these throughout this week and just keep doing different color grading techniques and different looks for you all. If you did enjoy, please make sure you like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.